We have Ivar here from Enslaved. It's Keith here with Ghost Cult Mag. We're here at Rough Trade Records in Brooklyn for the signing. Enslaved has had a whirlwind weekend where they were part of a symposium Friday night, as well as this Enslaved 25th anniversary celebration last night at the Gramercy Theater. Ivar, welcome to New York. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this for the fans and for yourself, clearly.
Thanks, man.
How do you guys feel 25 years as a band?
It's amazing, man. It's drawing to a close of the 2016, which has been the anniversary year. It's been amazing. We started out in London with the London By Norse, where we did pretty much the same thing with, different sets. Old school. I don't know if you call it new school. Is it just old school? Old school and contemporary, I guess. Enslaved. And now we're ending the year on a high note in New York. And it's been fantastic, It really makes us inspired to keep going. And it's been, a real injection of vitamins, I would say.
Awesome. It has been a tremendous year. Last year, obviously, you guys released In Times. You have new releases out right now, re-releases and reissues, remasters. It's been a tremendous year. And I know we're looking forward to stuff for next year. I wanted to ask you first about the concert, and obviously you did the London concert also. In terms of the planning and preparation and picking the material, you had so much to draw from, and judging by the reaction of the crowd last night, went over well, incredibly well. So I wanted to ask you about, how did you decide on the songs and prepare?
We start out by like we were doing a normal set list where we would try and find some kind of concept, I guess. And that was pretty easy this time because we wanted to start, in the old days. And we started with song Loki, which is the opening for the Frost album, which is, I guess, what started the whole thing for us outside of Norway. So then we tried to find songs that's matching from the beginning of the set list and seems to have some logical development. It's like totally unexact science. It's just mumbo jumbo. It's just what we feel right there and then. And then we try, since an anniversary thing, we want to give the fans something, because obviously the fans are the reason we can go to the US and wherever. So then we try to pick up on what people have been asking for, and some things they were asking for, and some things has been pretty much been a demand, like the Havenless song. So before it turned into a full mutiny, we had to give the Havenless song. So I would say that in this case, democracy seems to be working.
Awesome. I'm sure there's already video of Havenless on YouTube for us all to watch. It was phenomenal. It's certainly my favorite Enslaved song anyway. I also wanted to take an opportunity to ask you the many things that were part of this incredible weekend. Was the first American performance of Bart Speck, which you basically ran off a plane, flew to the ran to the venue, and got to participate. Einar from Madrun is here. He was part of the performance yesterday as well. Really special, really great. Can you talk a little bit about the genesis of that project, and will we get a release from that project sometime soon? We'd love it.
Oh, cool! Thanks, man. It's been a developing thing for me for many years, ever back since the 90s when I got my home studio, primitive home studio where I'm making the Enslaved demos. I started to experiment with my other great musical love, which I guess is like dark electronic music. Particularly the stuff from the 70s, which been very important for Enslaved too, inspiration, like the German synthesizer guys like Klaus Schulze and Tangerine Dream, all that very sort of dark, ambient kind of thing. So I've been working on it, and I developed this demo tape, and I didn't know exactly what to do with it until the guys from Roadburn, by some fluke, just asked me if I knew any like dark ambient bands from Norway, and I got one myself. And they put it on a bill, and it just started snowballing from there. And I guess the album will be out next year. Actually, I'm in the process of recording it now. I just had a few days in the studio before leaving for this. Ivar, the other guy that was on stage singing with us, our producer, he's also the producer for Bart Speck. So we're gonna go back in the studio just after New Year and finish it, and then we'll see when it's out. It's also gonna be out on the By Norse Music, our label, where we release Vadruna and these like Enslaved, more rare things.
amazing, and definitely keep your ears peeled for that release because it's phenomenal. Anybody that's a fan of this music, this is a project not to be missed. Another fun thing I wanted to talk about this weekend that really blew me away yesterday was the preview of the Enslaved 25 documentary. It's directed and produced by Vivek from Grimposium and David Hall. Shout out to those guys, tremendous job. We saw, I think maybe 15, 20 minutes of it yesterday. What's that process for you guys, going back and sort of unearthing all this history, and not just the history of the band, but your history of your friendship, and your camaraderie and your creation of all this incredible music? 25 years, but much more than that since you're children, really. So the film looks like it's going to be phenomenal when we see the whole thing, but I had to get your take on that.
It's been so much fun, as we were touched upon when we talked in the little panel before the screening yesterday. The thing that made us react so positively to Dave and Vivek's request to do this was their genuine interest in music. So the things are walking hand in hand all the time when we've been talking to them, planning the biopic and the written one, which Vivek is doing. There's always this parallel between the history of the band, the people in the band, but also following the music and what's going on in the scene at the same time. And that's been such a great journey for me. Just the week we had earlier this year up in Canada with the guys, where we were talking about inspirations and everything. And I came back home to Norway and just found all these vinyls that I kind of forgot about a little bit, but talking about this documentary just reminded me, had to get the old autopsies and Entombed and all that stuff that was sort of a little bit outside of the actual black metal core, but very influential, like the early Anathema, Paradise Lost, whatever, all these wonderful things that were going on in thrash metal, death metal, gothic metal, whatever, around the time that also influenced us. So it's been a re-experiencing those days, but with a broader mind now, I think. Back then everything's just so hectic. It was get a demo out, get a record deal, try and play outside our hometown, and you couldn't really savor the moment kind of thing. And now this is the luxury where you can go back and revisit the times with a sort of, I guess, I don't know, more of a mature mind or something. I don't know. We're not that mature. We're pretty childish, actually.
Oh, you guys are hilarious, and it's okay to be a little childish. You gotta have some fun. I definitely wanted to take a second and ask and just talk about By Norse. I think it's a phenomenal project. It's a phenomenal endeavor. I was speaking all weekend to the stakeholders of By Norse, and we were just talking about what a huge thing this is to come from the underground. You always hear in the music industry about what's the big band that's going to shatter the major label or the metal label sort of stronghold on bands, and this is really very independent, extremely well done, with the power of a major, but run by artists, for artists, and it's really, as a guy who's been a music journalist for a long time, it's really inspiring, and I hope it's, kicks off a wave of these kind of things, but clearly it's been terrific so far. I wanted to just get your take on the label and, what else you have planned in the future, if you're going to produce other bands eventually outside of the little collective of bands. I'm dying to know.
Yeah, totally. We were open for that. We're just waiting. We have all the time in the world. We're the old alligator in the grass. I'm just waiting for the right prey to walk by, so to speak. No, it's the thing is pretty simple. It's the same. I guess that's why we're coming from backgrounds of being in a band. Even Simon, me and Aina's manager, which is part of it, he's also an old underground musician to begin with.
Right.
So we're entering this. But we're investing cultural capital into it, our own experience and music and visions, and that's what we're expecting to get back out of it. We don't even care if it's a commercially successful endeavor. Of course, we don't want to lose our family's money in it, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. The thing is, we want to see what did we do in terms of cultural capital, release music, arrange concerts, festivals, like this weekend. And then I think the rest is just going to follow, It's the same as music. If you stay true to the formula, it works out. I don't care if I have to, I've been doing that with Enslaved. I've had part-time jobs. I've been washing offices, to raise money for, backline or whatever. We've been doing this for 25 years. slept in vans, slept in airports. If it, times are rough, that's fine, as long as the music is good.
Amazing. We'll be looking forward to future releases from By Norse. I just have 2 more quick questions for you. One other really cool thing, yesterday during the Q&A, you guys announced that you're heading into the studio and there will be new Enslaved music in 2017.
Absolutely.
So we're super stoked as the follow-up to End Times, as I mentioned earlier. Is it already written? Or are you just beginning the writing? Where are you in the process? I heard a mention of hitting the studio actually soon to record. So what's the progress on that?
We're in the first quarter of the process, but approaching the second quarter of the writing process. So there's already a bit of direction being laid out, but I can't really tell, which direction it's going in. It's like I'm painting in a sense, but with my nose stuck in the canvas. I can't really see what the whole thing looks like, but it feels good, the music that I've made so far. So I'm hoping other people will like it too.
Awesome. Well, we'll expect more of the same greatness, Enslaved. So looking forward to that new record. And then just last but not least, I couldn't take this opportunity and miss it without asking you about Pink Floyd. One of your favorite bands, certainly my favorite band, and a band that has actually influenced a lot of metal and a lot of rock bands. And there was a little clip of the Live from Pompeii in the documentary last night. So I want to ask you if you have a favorite Pink Floyd record or song that you go back to again and again. I know I have my favorites. I heard Echoes was used in the film, so I wonder if that's one of them.
Yeah, I would say that the Echoes songs is my favorite song. But when it comes to album, it would be Dark Side of the Moon, just because of the way that the album, everything, from cover art to transitions between songs, that's been very inspirational for me too. To think, like the way to think, even though the album isn't like the traditional prog rock thing where it's an actual story about the guy in a whale or something, it's a thematic album where there's separate songs, but they still have this sort of red line going through them. So that's just a perfect album, and the sound on the album is perfect. But the song Echoes, from the Pompeii video, that's my favorite.
Awesome. One of mine too. Ivar from Enslaved, thank you so much for spending some time with Ghost Cult Magazine, ghostcultmag.com. Shout out to By Norse Records. Props to Rough Trade Brooklyn for letting us do this here. Thanks again. Congratulations on 25 years. We'll be following the next thing and the next 25 years, I hope.
Thanks, man. Thanks
Take
for
care,
the interview.
man. Peace.